The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "I have much more to tell you, but you cannot bear it now. But when he comes, the Spirit of truth, he will guide you to all truth. He will not speak on his own, but he will speak what he hears, and will declare to you the things that are coming. He will glorify me, because he will take from what is mine and declare it to you. Everything that the Father has is mine. For this reason I told you that he will take from what is mine and declare it to you." The Gospel of the Lord. All right, everybody, think of someone in your life whom God has providentially put. A neighbor, a family member, friend, co-workers. Who in your life can you share the good news of Jesus Christ? Who in your life can you share the gospel? You see, that is the role. And I know it's not easy to share the faith. You know, over the weekend I asked, what type of Christian does the world need? And it's precisely the type of Christian whom we have Paul as the example today. Look at Paul. Paul is willing to look silly. He's willing to be made fun of, to be mocked. He's willing to put himself out there in order to proclaim this good news. Here we have him at the Areopagus. It's in the famous city of Athens. If you pull up any images of Athens today, the Areopagus was near that rock outcropping. You know, when you see the skyline, the ancient city of Athens, and on top of this ancient rock outcropping, it's built the Parthenon, the famous temple to Athena. And right below the Areopagus was this marketplace of ideas where the people, the philosophizers, the people of different gods, they would go and they would discuss the latest intellectual trends. Because remember what Athens is and continues to be. Athens was a city of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. It was the birthplace of democracy, our civilization. So Athens is the cultural and intellectual heart of ancient civilization. And here is Paul. He goes in. Little Paul, unknown Paul. And notice how he evangelizes. And this is a great clue for us. Paul, it says here, as he describes, and as he's walking around, he says, I was taking a walk around your city, and I was looking up all the different temples that you have here, because they would have been surrounded by temples, beautiful temples. And then notice what Paul says next. He says, I see you Athenians are very religious. You see what he's doing here? He's buttering them up, isn't he? You see, this is a great way to enter into people's lives. And he's not doing this as a tactic like a car salesman, right? No. Because remember, every single person that we encounter is created in God's image and likeness and deserves profound respect. And so he interacts with them as a human being. Well, he goes up to them and he says, I see in you, you are very religious. And he builds that human connection first. So what does that mean for us? Well, your family members, your friends, your co-workers. Love them. Take an interest in their lives. Not because you're trying to sell them something, no, but because you genuinely, from Christ's love, you love them. And you make that immediate connection with them. And then from that relationship you've been able to build with them, now you draw them deeper, right? As Paul does here. He says, I see you're very religious here, you in the city of Athens. Now I proclaim to you. Do you see, here is one of the great advantages. Every single person that's walking around Vacaville right now, Every single person on earth, in fact, is wired for God. They are created to worship Jesus Christ. Every single person. And so you and I our role is that we have to proclaim it. As Scripture tells us that faith comes through hearing. Meaning, by implication, people will not believe unless someone speaks it to them. And so now the question goes back to the very beginning, as I asked. Are we willing to look silly like Paul? To proclaim to our neighbors, our family, and our friends the beautiful encounter with Jesus Christ that we all have. Because the gift of faith that we have, and I know you have the gift of faith because you're here. And you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that gift of faith that God has given us. And so this gift is now meant not to be kept for ourselves. No. This gift of faith we have must be shared with others. And so now think, who in your life has God put in His providence for you to share the faith? But be ready to be made fun of, to be mocked, to be made look at like we're silly. But that's okay. That's all right.